All right, let's talk about some new cards coming out soon in the far future, not too far, but I know Celestial Storm is coming out soon, and when we get a leak of all the English cards, I'll go ahead and do an analysis on that. But we already have sneak peeks coming from the next expansion, which is called Thunderclap Spark. I'm not quite sure yet if that's the official name in English or if that's just a Japanese translation, but it is a new set that will be coming out, I believe, in, if I'm not mistaken, so we're getting Celestial Storm in September, October, November, or the November set? Is it in November? So it comes out in Japan, July. I think we get it in October, I think. It's one of those 2 months. I'm losing track of all my months right now. But, it's the next expansion, regardless. But we need to start talking about some of these cards because it looks like lightning types are coming back in full force. So let's start with the star of the entire set, which is Zeraora GX, the newest mythical Pokemon to be announced and, just announced. It's not exactly officially released in the game just yet, but it was just announced about a couple months ago. And now we finally get a glimpse of his GX card, which is a very good GX card because it's a mix of a bunch of other good GX cards. And here's where it gets kind of interesting. So let me go ahead and minimize the picture here so we can see the attacks. So obviously this is all coming from Poke Beach, but if you look at Zeraora, first and foremost, it's got 190 HP. That is a huge plus. Okay, that's a little bit above average, but 190 is a big difference. Now, it's got an interesting ability called Electric Zone. Each of your Pokemon that has any lightning energy attached to it has no retreat cost. So it doesn't matter if you're using Raichu, Electrode, or even if it's a non-lightning type attacker, if it has any lightning energy attached to it, there's no retreat cost for that Pokemon. So that's a huge plus. I definitely see that becoming a big strategy in mine because being able to have free retreat is a big deal. Now, the first attack, 2 lightning, 1 colorless, Plasma Fist, 160 damage. This Pokemon can attack during your next turn. Does that sound familiar? It should, because it is Buzzwall's attack and Lapras's attack, where you do 160 damage and you just can't attack during that next turn, or at least you can't attack, period. I think with Lapras you can attack. You can only use Collect, but regardless, you're stalled for a turn. With a Choice Band, you're doing 190 to GX and EX Pokemon. This is obviously a very good attack. We can't say that it's not, because if it wasn't, we wouldn't be playing Buzzwole or Lapras, but people are. The next attack is this GX attack, which is interesting. Full Voltage GX. Attach 5 basic energy cards from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way you like. You can't use more than 1 GX attack in a game. 5 basic energy cards for 1 lightning energy. This is Turtonator's GX attack, just with a different energy cost. And if I'm not mistaken, Turtonator is only bringing back basic fire energy cards. This brings back just any 5 basic energy cards. So you can, play with grass, fire, water, whatever. Obviously, I think you'd probably be better with grass because of Vikavolt, but you still have options here. So this is interesting to see how people will play this, if people will play this in a non-lightning fashion. Can't say for sure, but it's definitely going to be one to keep an eye out for. It's definitely going to see play. A lot of people are going to make big decks out of it, and I'm excited to see what's going to come out of it, especially since we have trainer support for it in this expansion. And you would assume so, seeing that it is a lightning theme expansion. It's going to have some lightning theme trainer cards to help make sure that, they get beefed up. We'll talk about Virizion in a second, but let's talk about these 2 cards here. Let's start with the item card, Electric Power. Yeah, it looks like a little capsule. It looks kind of like a plus power too, because it almost does the same thing. During this turn, your lightning Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage. It's a trainer card, a one-of, just to do 30 more, and that's on top of what your Choice Band could already do. So if you're if your Zeraora is already doing 190 with the choice band, put this and drop this on there. Now you're doing 220, which KOs just about every relevant GX Pokemon in the meta right now. You can drop in another one if you want to and push it up to 250, which now it's completely unstoppable. Or even that, like let's say, I don't know, you have Raichu. Okay, so you have Raichu GX does 20 more for each lightning energy and does base at 10, so it takes 2 to feed it, so it's 20, 40, that's plus 10 was a 50, plus a choice band is 80. You could essentially just drop 2 more electric powers just to KO, I don't know, any non-GX Pokemon that has 130 HP, because there are some good ones out there. I mean, this is kind of crazy because there's so many things you can do with it. Just having that option of having that extra 30, I feel like people are going to play more order pads just to make sure that they can draw electric power when they need it. So this is kind of nuts to have that extra hefty damage. Next up, Thunder Mountain Prism Star, the first Prism Stadium card that we are getting. And yes, again, it is lightning support. It's very good. The attacks of each player's lightning Pokemon cost 1 lightning less. So Zeraora really only needs 2 energy cards. So you could essentially play with Vikavolt, although I wouldn't quite suggest that because that's a stage 2 and it's kind of bulky. There's other ways to power up Zeraora, but you could, so that way Grass and Lightning gets attached and then it's ready to do its 160 attack. What else we got? We got Raichu GX, which essentially you could do the same. I think he's got a 160 attack, so you could do it for just 2 energy. Again, it is nuts how they're just giving Lightning all the power to try to come back full force in the meta. And I'm hoping it does, because we haven't had a really good Lightning deck in a very long time. But that's not where it stops, because not only does it reduce the cost of the attack by 1 Lightning energy less, as long as the stadium is in play, whenever a player uses an item or support a card from their hand, prevent all effects of those cards done to the stadium. This card cannot be used with Delinquent. Okay, Delinquent doesn't affect it. Field Blower doesn't affect it. The only way you can get rid of this stadium card is by just playing another stadium card, which is doable. There are still some decks out there that are playing stadium cards. However, it's not that threatening. A Field Blower is more threatening, but this doesn't get blown away by Field Blower. So it's, again, a crazy, crazy setup here. Being able to use Thunder Mountain Prism Star, doing the extra 30 damage with electric power, and just having some fast lightning Pokemon to attack. I am very ecstatic that we're getting all of the support for it. So that's it as far as lightning theme stuff right now. But we do have one more GX card that was revealed. That's a little off theme in the sense. Sorry about that. In the sense that it's grass type and it's a Virizion. It's a beautiful card, by the way. I will say that the art behind it is very, very nice. It's got like this twirling little, what is it, petal dance or razor leaf or something like that going around it. It's very nice. It's an interesting card. It's very techable is what I get from it. So it's 170 HP, little less than a little below average, but it's fine. 1 colorless energy, you get to draw 2 cards. Okay, it's not too terrible. I mean, Lapras has an attack like that with 1 water energy and you draw 3 cards. But this, at least you can start off of any deck and just draw 2 cards. Definitely something you want to start with, and an attack that you definitely don't want to rely on in the mid to late game, at least in my personal opinion. Then it's got an attack for 2 grass energy. Sensitive Blade, 50 plus damage. If you played a supporter card during this turn, this attack does 80 more damage. Now, if that sounds familiar, it should, because that's also Gallade's attack. The fighting type Gallade that we've got that used to be played in Gardevoir GX decks, it's the same thing. You play a supporter, you do 130 damage, which is actually pretty good because you would be 2-shotting just about any GX EX Pokemon. If they had weakness, it would be a 1-shot. But a lot of the relevant non-GX Pokemon have 130 HP anyway. So you would be knocking it out with that Sensitive Blade as long as you played a supporter card. And then it's got a GX attack, which I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. But for one colorless energy, breeze away GX, put any number of your Pokemon in play and all cards attached to them into your hand. The only. Okay, so when I first read this, I immediately thought, okay, sorry about that fading out there. I immediately thought that if all of your Pokemon on the bench are damaged or have damage counters on them, and you don't want to risk losing any of them, you could just use this to bring them all back in your hand. Granted that you actually your Virizion can survive because otherwise you'd be knocked out, or maybe you just leave one bench Pokemon. But this way you kind of save all of those cards. Other than that, I don't know what else you would use them for. Maybe if you were playing Expanded and had a whole bunch of Shaymins, bring all those Shaymins back into your hand. That could be kind of useful. But I don't know. I'm sure there's a bunch of strategies that I don't quite see just yet. That people are gonna find ways to make it work. So again, it's interesting that it's very techable in the sense that you can use its first and GX attack in any deck. It doesn't need grass specifically. But then what makes it awkward is that you have an attack that requires grass energy. So I'm not quite sure how you want to go about that, but it is an interesting card just to kind of keep an eye out for in case it becomes extremely useful later on. But that is going to be all the cards we're going to look at for now, guys. This is going to be the card. This is it right here. The Zeraora is going to be the one to watch out for. A lot of people are going to try to play it. I definitely think it's something that if you are very into lightning type in the TCG, you need to build a deck out of this, because this is going to, I feel like this is going to be very huge and very, it's going to be a threat to watch out for, along with the Rayquaza we're getting from Celestial Storm. So that's going to be it, guys. Let me know what you think about the cards. What if you're excited about Zeraora, Virizion, the Prism Stadium card, the Electric Power, all that stuff, or you're just excited about the set overall, hit the like button. There's so much going on, so many good stuff coming out from TCG, and I'm really excited about it. But, yep, that's going to be it again. So please like, subscribe, comment, do what you got to do. I'll see y'all in the next video.